Hey, would you like to be enlightened? Everybody does. There's this desire to be happy, to be healthy, to have a deeper understanding of who you are in this world around you, to become enlightened. And for hundreds of years, thousands of years, people have always sought paths to achieve enlightenment. And yoga is really one of the primary paths people have used over the hundreds of years of this quest for enlightenment and well-being. Now, why aren't we all enlightened? Why people who do yoga are not enlightened? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to be enlightened? Well, they've identified, I say they, over hundreds of years, the yogis and wise people have said there's 5 obstacles to enlightenment. There's 5 things that occur that cause you to suffer your entire life. And these 5 things are like poison. They really kill the urge of the soul to become enlightened. And they have a word for it. In yoga, it's called Klesha. Klesha. It's an obstacle. And it literally means a poison. To get rid of these poisons is what we have to do to become enlightened. So there's 5 of them. Let's look at what they are. The first obstacle that people have is ignorance, not knowing. It's not being stupid. It's not even necessarily having facts that you need to have or knowing what to do. The ignorance they're speaking of here is the ignorance that there is a true self that you have, with a capital S, that goes beyond that ordinary personality and ego that we have created. So not being ignorant that there's a bigger self, a great self, a huge self. That's who you are. So overcoming that ignorance or accepting that there's something greater than you think you are, that eternal soul, the eternal self. That's obstacle number 1. Second obstacle is attachment. And the attachment that you're usually holding on to that creates the obstacle to enlightenment is the attachment to a false sense of self. You know, that person you thought you have been for all these years, that you've manufactured, that you've been told, that your parents, your family, your culture, your society, yourself, self-talk, this false sense of self you've created, then we become attached to it. It's like our identity. I don't know if I like it, but it's me, it's mine. I attach to it. So the attachment to not only who we are, but who we think we should be. That's a big attachment. To not be attached to who you think you should be. So attachment, obstacle number 2. Number 3, a desire. Desire for what? Well, just material objects, like I want this, I want a car, I want that, I want a house, all these I desire to have. And it's a natural human state to need, we think, or want something. But there's also a desire for power. There's a desire for relationships in order to be happy. There's a lot of, I think, false desires we have manufactured or that society has given us to think that if you can get this, you'll be happy, you'll be okay, you'll be healthy, you may be enlightened. So there's something that's what desire comes from having the illusion of something we don't have that we need to have. And we desire that. So a lot of times people's lives are just run by desires. Like I need to get this, I need to do that, so I can't do that. And that desire I have gets stronger and stronger over time. And also suffering. The third obstacle to be removed so we don't suffer. So desire, the third obstacle to enlightenment. The fourth one, this is a big one now, anger. Anger to what? Where does this anger come from? Well, it's directed, usually it comes from inside and directed outward. So our anger is usually directed a lot to things around us, like just circumstances and things that we see, just things, objects. Also, it's directed a lot to people. They're the problem. That's not why I'm not happy. I'm mad at them. I'm angry with what they said to me. And even experiences. And all these things that we become angry at, the toxicity of it is that it's something that we cannot change. It's just the way it is. And so we react to it in an angry way, which creates a disturbance in our body, in our minds, and emotions that hold us back from enlightenment. And anger only causes the person who's angry to suffer. Think about this. You create your suffering through your own anger. That's all that happens when you're angry. The fifth obstacle to enlightenment, or the fifth cause of suffering, is simply fear of the future and fear of the unknown. This is because we project ourselves out of the present moment. We no longer are present with ourselves, our emotions, our desires, our feelings, whatever you want to think of it is. We project outward. It's somewhere there. It's later on. I'll be happy when this happens. I need this to happen next. I'm really worried because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. No one has ever known what's going to happen tomorrow. So this fear of the unknown, of not what's to be, This also can be overcome by being fully in the present. So to gain knowledge, to be in the present, to release attachments and desires, to dissolve the sense of anger, we have to have a practice to do that. We have to have a regimen to get rid of the 5 poisons in our lives that prevent us from being enlightened or that create our suffering. This is hard because they've been omnipresent for most people for many lifetimes. These are things we kind of hold on to, these obstacles. There really are excuses for not doing what we need to do. They're excuses that we make to ourselves and to other people that we haven't been the person we know we truly are. And so you have to have a discipline and a daily encounter with these 5 obstacles. And the best way to do that is to have a daily practice where each day you work on yourself in this way. You have something you do. For many people and some people, it can be something like meditation. It could be yoga. But to do that effectively, you have to have a discipline. You have to meet yourself every day. It's a practice. So through your practice, you overcome these 5 obstacles, get rid of the 5 poisons that cause your suffering. It's as simple as that. Simple as that is probably the hardest thing you'll do in your life. And it's worth doing. So let's practice some meditation that might help you overcome these 5 obstacles, poisons in your life. And it comes from a lot of the self-healing that can come from the heart, self-acceptance, self-compassion. Again, so meditation for self-care is only 3 minutes. The left hand is over the heart. The right hand comes up with the right finger, index finger, and you close off the right nostril. Take a nice, easy, full breath to the left side of the nose. You hold the breath in gently, and you exhale through the pursed lips. So you inhale to a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Inhale slowly into the left side. Retain the breath briefly as you like. The exhalation comes to the pursed lips, out through the lips. Continue this rhythm into the left nostril, inhaling fully, slowly, completely. As you exhale through the lips, about the same length of time, you can use a count or a mantra to make the time appropriately. It only takes 3 minutes. Let's try this. It's a beautiful self-care meditation for the heart, for self-acceptance and self-compassion. now that you've experienced something very easy and simple to do for just 3 minutes to take care of yourself, why would you not do this every day? This is called yoga for self-care.